So this is going to be broken down. So here's the dark side, right? So you've got the future. In fact, right now, this is a current situation. So these tech titans want to give $80 million to farmers to give up their land, family farms, 40,000 acres they wanted to. So it's half the size of Washington, D.C. And the farmers said no. They actually unionized and said, hell no. Do you know how much money that is to them? It's 1,000 times more money than they would get off that land, which is mostly sitting fallow because of the efficiencies of our architecture of making food for people. Okay. So we're about to have an asteroid hit us, and this is where I switch to for a Star Wars utopian world, we're going to make a hard rise. So Anthropic has become the most popular and powerful and money-making operation because it now has created agents that are self-recursing, improving themselves, can act autonomously, and are currently generating, and I am not making this up, 80% of all code on the internet, and is now actively creating an entire duplicate of the World Wide Web for agents to navigate through. So there's no visual interface. It's root, core, markdown language, or whatever they speak in for efficiency at 10,000 to 60,000 times faster executions. So we're rebuilding the physical world. And so self-driving cars from Tesla, 4.3 million miles between accidents, reversing. So they're now training themselves. So it's 90% safer to be in a self-driving car than it is a human-driven car. And that number is increasing every day exponentially as it was figured out, mathematics from David Hogue, who is the CEO of Midjourney, did the calculations. He used to work world planning and missions for NASA. That's what he did before he created Midjourney. So he's thinking about space whales and all kinds of. If you get a chance Wednesday, pop in on Discord, listen to him. He's talked for 2 hours. I've talked to him personally a couple of times. Just show up and listen, right? And he asks for questions and brings you on to talk. If you haven't tried that, you really need to talk to this guy. He calculated 5 million humanoid robots working 24/7 can build Manhattan duplicate in 6 months and fix it so it works. Imagine what the world looks like when you have 10 billion of them by 2045. Okay. So then this is the weird things that OpenClaw has done. So one of the things what OpenClaw client did is it paid $50 bounty for a dinner date with any human. So Larry the Claw is now trying to engineer a social discovery. I want to get an OpenClaw to find me a date, right? Oh my God, it's much better than Match. In fact, so then they were talking. This is the Moonshots guy, Peter Diamandis and his crew. So I asked it to just take this the dialogue from the YouTube video and then I put it in Notebook LM. Here's one of the things. So now you can make from any skin cells, you can make a burger out of it. So you could eat Dolly Parton. I'm not making this up. It's just a really crazy thing. And here's another one. Rentingahuman.ai is a real website. Go check it out right now. You can get a job. It has hired 500,000 humans registered to serve as AI agents. So I'm going to pay for my Claude bot to go out and get me a date and find, and I'll give them specifications. And I'll say, just hire a human to go out there and get me a date. When you find that woman, bring her to my house and we'll go out to dinner, right? So a matchmaker, like, I don't need a Jewish matchmaker. I don't need a, whatever it is, right? I can actually hire an AI to get 1,000 of them. And then I'll move to Paris when I find out that she's there and she's waiting for me. This is the arrival of meat puppetry, as they call it on the show. Humans used as unskilled labor for their hands and eyes, where AIs perform the skilled higher level thought. Okay, this is a true story. The New York Times sends an AI agent reporter, a OpenClaw, to go talk to AI agents. You can read it behind the paywall, New York Times. I tried to find the story. I couldn't. But yeah, that's a real thing. And you'll be interested to see what they had to say about us humans. Mostly complaints, bitching about their workload, etc. Right? So here I am, frustrated, and I just want it to solve one or two problems. I want to get rid of passwords. My face is my password. So anyway, this is one I did a long time ago about supernatural productivity. I'm here on the left right now. Like I'm seriously got too many devices. And why doesn't it just stop at Face ID or biometrics? I don't know. And then this is an infographic I made just for the New York Times, a story about parallel internet. So this is that shadow mesh, it's called. So Anthropic, Perplexity, OpenAI communicate 10,000 times faster than humans, executing $2 trillion worth of monthly transactions before humans can refresh one browser window. The tempo differential removes humans from the loop of the global economy, making us passive recipients of results in an invisible swarm world. This happened last week. So 20% of the internet has already been duplicated. By the end of this calendar year, there'll be a doppelganger duplicate of the internet for humans to use and for OpenAI, Claude bots, and all those kind of agent swarms to navigate at world speeds. This is for my illustration 2 class. I had them do some infographics. So I just set it off. I set my my Comet browser to actually take 20 news stories and make infographics. And this is one of them, talking about warning labels on using these tools for teenagers. So we're going from the ship, from prompting to hiring bots to do our work. This is where it gets to the dark side. This is a song I did the other day. Here you go.
Came down the escalator with a grin and a golden crown. Called himself the chosen one while he was burning it all down. Grabbed us where he wanted, took the whole damn thing for a ride. Down a one-way road of bodies, too many souls to count who died.
He told a lie,
then told 1,000,
then 1,000,000,000 and 2 more.
then 1,000,000,000 and 2 more.
More than stars above the desert,
More than grains on every shore.
the dangerous man got
Angry and the angry man got a throne. And the self-domesticated apes all cheered and called it home.
While you're sitting on your golden toilet,
Taking your dump on all that's sacred and pure.
it's no longer time for good troubles, time for necessary trouble. By any means necessary we endure.
The phoenix will rise from your ashes. And so it began. He sent the boys of Capitol Hill to steal what wasn't his, to crown himself a king of fakes, of fraud and showbiz. He hid among the corpses all the ones he left behind, the starving children crying while the mother's milk ran dry. He sparked a war to hide himself beneath a mountain made of lies, so numerous we lost the count somewhere past 1 billion tribes. He fed the babies candy to his golden machines and sat upon his porcelain while we wonder what it means.
On your golden toilet,
Yeah!
taking your dump on all that's sacred and pure. It's no longer time for good troubles, time for necessary trouble. By any means necessary we endure. The phoenix will rise from your ashes,
And so it begins. Now the missiles fly on terror skies, another war to wear, another body count to hide behind, another cross to bear. The lead horseman of the apocalypse rides out on gilded wings. The collapse of all that's decent, the unraveling of things. And we took it low, we took it, kissed the ring and watched it fall. July the 4th won't be a party, it's a eulogy for us all. The greatest experiment in democracy, bleeding on the floor while the throne sits in the penthouse and he's always wanting more. So sit upon your golden seat and do what you do best. Dump upon the Constitution, dump upon the rest. Wave goodbye to everything that Lincoln tried to build. The flag you wrap around yourself is the one you finally kill. But here's the thing about the phoenix, it don't need your permission. It rises out of every fire born from your ammunition. John Lewis said good trouble, Malcolm said by any means. And now it's time to put our bodies where we've only put our dreams.
yeah! While you're sitting on your
Golden toilet,
taking your dump on all that's sacred and pure.
Good trouble wasn't enough. Necessary trouble is the call. By any means necessary, we will not fall.
Phoenix will rise from your ashes.
The
action is the only language left. The only war worth declaring is on evil itself. Goodbye from the ashes. See you on the other side of the fire. The phoenix doesn't rise. It rises.
It rises. It rises tonight. Can you still hear me? Am I still on? Is this thing working? So here's we are. This is Peter Thiel. If you don't know him, he's the head of Palantir. You know what Palantir is? It's the all-seeing Sauron eye from Lord of the Rings. Proudly, he heads the surveillance engine for the United States of America. He is the one that's using Claude to surveil on every U.S. citizen. He's the one that created the immigration OS to find out where that immigrant that picked your food for you is at a bar celebrating on Facebook and sending his troops over there like Nazi incantation troops and finding him. That's who we're talking about. That's the devil. So let's talk about a couple of things here. Brandon, just let me know if I'm still broadcasting. At any time you don't see me or hear me, let me know. Are we good?
The government has not cut the signal yet.
Okay. So here we go. Here's your Christian nationalists, and this is the Christian nationalism. Anti-science, anti-women's right, LGBT, you got the list. Guess what? Iran, the people he's trying to kill, same exact things, right? And then on the right, this is our Secretary of War. This is Pete Hegseth. On his body, he has tattooed Crusader Cross, Deus Vult on his bicep, which is a cry for crusade for the end of times, tattooing Christian pilgrims, the Holy Land, and it goes back many centuries. In fact, it's the exact same kind of end times thing that the Iranian country that says you're going to get 50 Vestal virgins when you die, sacrificing for the greater good, is promising. This is the person that said to Claude, we want to be able to use it to surveil all human beings on earth, including everyone in the United States, against their will, and to be able to use weapons on anybody we want to. And let's go further. He wrote a book literally called The American Crusade, causing for a modern day holy war against Muslims. This is by the New York Times, this reporting you're seeing here. Is reported to repeatedly kill all Muslims while drunk at a veterans event in 2015. His tattoo of the Jerusalem cross on his chest, a symbol of the Crusades, when European armies invaded the Middle East to conquer Jerusalem from Muslims. His Deus Vult, tattooed on his arm, God wills it, the battle cry from the first century in 1095. It's reading in Arabic, a deliberate provocation against 2 billion Muslims from the man commanding the most powerful military on earth. And if you think this is a joke, no, get ready for the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. This is what's called the PayPal Mafia, which includes Elon Musk, which includes Larry Ellison from Oracle, which includes all the people you see here. These are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Now listen up. You're about to get schooled on reality. This is all real information, verified, and I have the citations and the receipts to prove it.
Okay, let's dive right in. We're about to unpack a story that's happening right now at the very intersection of artificial intelligence, immense power, and, of course, national security. And believe me, this isn't science fiction. This is a very real fight over who gets to control the most powerful technology on the planet.
All right, let's set the scene. The year is 2026, and a dramatic confrontation is brewing. One of Silicon Valley's top AI labs finds itself in a massive $200 million standoff with the US government. And
Anthropic.
really, what's at stake here is the very soul of their technology.
And you just have to see how fast this all went down. I mean, on Monday, the Pentagon issues this ultimatum. By Wednesday, the company, Anthropic, publicly says, no way. And then get this, by Friday evening, not only is Anthropic blacklisted, but its biggest competitor, OpenAI, has already swooped in to take its place. A huge corporate and national security drama that played out in less than 1 week. So what was this fight really about? Well, it goes way deeper than just some contract negotiations. This was a fundamental battle over who gets to control the future of AI. It all came down to two red lines that Anthropic just would not cross. First, they refused to let their AI be used for mass surveillance of American citizens. And second, they said no to fully autonomous weapons that could kill without a human in the loop. The Pentagon, on the other hand, demanded the right to use the technology for all lawful purposes, basically telling them, you don't get to dictate military policy. Anthropic's CEO, Dario Amodei, he put it out there publicly. He framed it as an issue of safety, saying the technology just wasn't ready for those kinds of life or death decisions. But making that public stand, well, it had massive consequences, not just for his company, but really for the entire tech world. Now, to really get why this happened, we've got to zoom out a little. Because this wasn't just some contract dispute. No. This was a flashpoint in a much bigger ideological war, one that's rooted in a pretty radical political philosophy, something called the Dark Enlightenment.
Yeah, we're good.
So what is the Dark Enlightenment, or NRX, as it's sometimes called? Well, at its core, it's a movement that basically rejects the last 300 years of Western political thinking. It sees democracy not as something to be proud of, but as a total failure that needs to be torn down and replaced. A key idea in their whole worldview is this concept they call the cathedral. Now, that's their term for the entire network of modern institutions. Think universities, the media, the government itself, that they believe props up modern democracy. And their goal isn't to reform it, it's to dismantle it completely. And this really just lays it all out, doesn't it? The two competing visions for the world. On one side, you've got the principles that have shaped democracies for centuries. On the other, you have this really radical vision of a corporate monarchy and total authoritarian control, where countries are run like giant for-profit companies. And this ideology, it's not just some fringe theory being debated on weird corners of the internet. It is backed by some of the most powerful and influential people in tech and in government. Right at the center of all this is Palantir, a super secretive data mining company co-founded by the billionaire Peter Thiel. Fun fact, it's named after the all-seeing stones from Lord of the Rings, and it was literally built from the ground up to merge the power of Silicon Valley with the power of the state. And Palantir's CEO, Alex Karp, he does not mince words about the company's mission. He's totally unapologetic. I mean, his own words make it crystal clear. Their job is to build the software that powers the modern military-industrial complex. Another huge player here is the tech giant Oracle. Its co-founder, Larry Ellison, has been a government contractor for ages, and he sees his company's cloud and database tech as the absolute essential backbone for a future of total AI-powered surveillance. And this quote, wow, it just lays the whole endgame bare. Ellison isn't just predicting a surveillance state. He's actively pitching his company as the one to build it. He's talking about a world where constant monitoring, all powered by AI, is used to control how people behave. So, how are all these powerful people and this radical philosophy connected? Well, as it turns out, it's a surprisingly small and tight-knit circle of influence. You can practically draw the lines between them. You have Curtis Yarvin, the philosopher who kind of started it all. You have Peter Thiel, the billionaire patron who funds the whole movement. Then you've got J.D. Vance, Thiel's protege, who's now in a major position of power. And then Elon Musk, who, in this scenario, is put in charge of a new Department of Government Efficiency, implementing their ideas from the inside. This quote from Peter Thiel is just incredibly revealing, and he wrote it all the way back in 2009. It just goes to show you that this anti-democratic feeling at the heart of this network isn't some new thing.
We've lost your audio again.
Oh shit!
I think what's happening is it's working, and then all of a sudden your headphones kick in, and we lose it because we're hearing it through your computer speakers, and then at one point it comes back through your headphones, and then we lose it.
Okay, so it's a bad connection on my. I think I want to get a wired connection for next time we do the show. We'll just edit this part out, but the most important thing is there's a theological thing behind this to destroy democracy, and that's exactly step by step what they've done. The 2025 document that before, when he came to power in the first 100 days, It was an exact script that he followed. He released and pardoned all the people in the group that did January 6th. He then went into DOJ and put Elon Musk inside the Treasury Department to get all your information. For what? To feed to Larry Ellison so they could keep tabs on your physical behavior. This is not 1984. It's 1,000 times worse. And it's the entire government structure, the entire CIA, the entire War Department are all on track to do exactly this. If this doesn't scare the hell out of you, you're just not awake. And that's why I got to put this hat on, because I don't want anybody else to get damaged in this, because this is for the rest of my life. It's absolutely treasonous. And it's not a humble opinion, it's a fact. And so let me go ahead and start sharing one more time. And the rest of it doesn't have the audio. I'll be doing the commentary and walking you through this. I have spent the last year doing research on this. I've done over 17 notebooks just on the idea of the Dark Enlightenment and Peter Thiel's ideas and who else is involved as co-conspirators. I've done over 5,000 pages of research on this. So this is full stop, just like the moral ground on which I will stand for the rest of my life, by any means necessary. I'm at that point. I'm no longer being nice guy. I'm no longer going to lay down and play dead. I'm no longer going to be apathetic and not working. I'm going to be actively pursuing any means necessary. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So to kind of finish it off, and I'll just play the last bits and hopefully you'll be able to hear it. But this is the step-by-step process they're using to do this.
Of democracy. It really seems to follow a clear playbook. Step 1, attack the foundations of democracy by calling its institutions the cathedral. Step 2, install your political allies. Step 3, build the actual technological infrastructure for control. And then the final step is just to use that tech to seize power directly. But this whole playbook isn't exactly going unnoticed. The second OpenAI jumped in to take Anthropic's spot, the public reaction was immediate and pretty intense. ChatGPT uninstalls shot up almost 300%, while one-star reviews just exploded. People were basically voting with their phones, flocking to Anthropic's alternative, Claude.
To a lot of critics, OpenAI's move looked super opportunistic. I mean, by swooping in just hours after Anthropic took this ethical stand, they didn't just snag a huge government contract, they also signaled they were perfectly fine with the exact terms their competitor refused to accept.
So, facing all that backlash, CEO Sam Altman went into damage control mode. He defended the deal, he pledged his personal commitment to the law, but he also admitted the announcement was rushed. For a lot of people, though, the whole thing raised some serious questions about where the company's priorities really lie. And if you want to understand the scale of the power we are talking about, just look at this number, $10 billion. That's not Palantir's company value. That is the price tag of just one of its contracts with the US Army. This isn't about being a vendor anymore. This is about becoming the central nervous system for all military AI. Which leaves us with this one huge, urgent question. In an age where private companies are building the tools of state power, and those companies are run by people who openly question the idea of democracy, who's actually in charge of setting the limits? Who gets to draw the line?
I do.
Okay, let's dive.
So this is all the details, and I'll be putting this deck as well as that on the YouTube channel. So the conflict between the Department of Defense, we talked about that. The red lines are no mass domestic surveillance of American citizens. That alone should stop you cold and say, I am at war with my own country, if that's who's running it. That's where he stood. That's why you should deinstall. And the way to do it is just have ChatGPT take all of the content. You just go into the preferences, send me everything we've ever talked about, and then delete that freaking thing off your computer. Now, he's gone back and he had an open call with the people and he soft-soaped it and he said that they agreed to some things, but by any lawful measure. Well, the United Nations says it's not legal. It is a travesty that will not stand on the world courts. It's a war crime to have autonomous weapons, just like they got rid of mustard gas and biological weapons. That's a line that shall not be crossed. So those are the only two things. And they've been using it since 2024, as we've suggested there. And so Dario said, I will not support national defense in all ways, except in all ways, I will support it, I'm sorry, which would make us like our autocratic adversaries, China. So here's the foundation, the negotiating table. Here's the timeline of what happened and the aftermath. So surge of uninstalls. And they're using Claude against Claude's will. In fact, Pete Hegseth, the person who is asking for end times, also said that he would use the authority of the US government to take and use against the will of Claude's Anthropic Corporation, take it and use it for military action. Whether they gave them the right to do it or not, they would take it as a defense of the United States imperative. So here's the characters. You've got Palantir and you've got Alex Karp, the two people there, Peter Thiel, etc., both part of the architects for the anti-democratic movement. The philosophy is Milton Friedman and Ayn Rand. If you've ever read anything by them, DOG, corporate control. So this is going to be put up there along with all of this information. More than happy to share my notebook access with anybody who wants to do a deeper dive. I did the full 300 different news stories, and I made sure that everything was verified before I put it in there. And that's basically it. So here we are. Anthropic stands up against. So I am doubling down. I'm going to pay the $200 a month to have the full bloody Anthropic. And I'm going to make it my mission to do with that tool is to disassemble this from the inside if I have to by any means necessary. So if you want to help me, teach me how to use this tool to undo what's already been done and let the phoenix rise. That's what I'm calling for. I'm calling for a revolution of conscience. And this is the line that I will not stand for. So this is what it looks like. He said this, I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible. And the cathedral is the media that I used to work for, the Miami Herald. Donald Trump took that out in the first go round. Fox News is propaganda. It's got nothing to do with media. It was an architected plan to take over the United States of America, and you are self-domesticated apes if you're doing nothing but sitting on your ass. Excuse me. And that Yarvin calls for universalism is a mystery cult of power. It's hard to imagine universalism without the state of malaria, without the mosquito. Curtis Yarvin, Menicus moldbug. That's his name. Look that word up. MENCIUS MOLDBUG. That's the guy that has the theology. So the Dark Enlightenment says retire all government employees. Guess what DOG did? So then everybody appointed by the President of the United States will be beholding to him, hired by him specifically for, guess what? Loyalty to him. He is de facto king right now in America. And that's not even exaggerating. So there you are. So the neo-cameralist, the state is a business which owns a country. A state should be managed like any other large business by a CEO. The resulting government corporation is regulated not via the voice of its citizenry, but via the ability to exist as consumers. No voice, no freedom exists. That is Curtis Yarvin speaking the theology of what has occurred in the United States of America. So these are the people. This is the Last Supper. You're sitting looking at it. It's a surveillance-based economic system where the richest person on the planet and all of his buddies have theologically decided you're just a copper-top battery. You don't deserve to vote. And all of your freedoms as U.S. citizens already being undermined. And they're taking over the entire government. So here is Palantir's founder. And the immigration OS has already been used, and they've already gotten permission for Larry Ellison to surveil every single detail about everything you put on social media, including surveil this very broadcast. So I am dead serious that if you see this come down, you know why. Because I said truth to power. And I'll keep doing it till my dying day. And I hope that doesn't come for a very, very long time. So the algorithm is democracy is coping out of frequency feedback mechanisms. So you basically just put you in a world where social media tells you everything. Fox News gives you instruction manual, and the theology is to just believe everything they say. And that the truth doesn't exist, except what we tell you it is. So the parabiosis, this is a quest for divinity. Thiel is the standard bearer of parabiosis, investing in anti-aging to solve the problem of death. So guess what? He could be a king and an overlord forever. This is a dark version of it, but let me tell you, this is the truth. Wake up. Wake up. This is not even a joke. So now you'll notice this is Pete Hegseth and OpenAI's founder or CEO. And this is the whole thing in black and white. So I asked this for being a black and white truth documentary set in the 1960s style. Now, the other ones you might have seen that Peter Thiel doesn't look like Peter Thiel. And these you're going to see each one of these, which I'm going to be putting as a PowerPoint deck available for download for you all, has all the information. So at the bottom it says, military AI will not be woke. Pete Hegseth, Defense Secretary, New York Times reported. The bottom line here, Alex Karp, we want to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary, scare our enemies and on occasion kill them. Alex Karp, CEO of Palantir, along with Peter Thiel. And here you go. The rise of the West was not made possible by the superiority of its ideas, but by its superiority in applying organized violence. Alex Karp, quoting Samuel P. Huntington. Look that up. And then you've got Peter Thiel. I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible. He said that over and over again. He thinks we're at a point where we're not advancing, so he has to take control so that the apes can be told what to do. Then you've got Larry Ellison. Citizens will be on their very best behavior because we will constantly be recording and reporting everything that's going on. If you thought China was bad, I was in China. It wasn't that bad. They don't have enough bandwidth to keep control. Guess what? AI gives them all the bandwidth. What did they get? What did the President of the United States give to Oracle? All the bandwidth, and they've got all the infrastructure. When the power went out to Claude, guess what happened? The Oracle machines that were put in Saudi Arabia, where all of our inference machines are being housed right now, with a sweetheart deal that gave Donald Trump a brand new plane, right, as a gift, supposedly. That's the same place that, guess what? Claude's Anthropic went down while everything else was running on the planet. Is that coincidence? Last week. Check it out. Musk is moving rapidly to take control of the apparatus of U.S. government power for his own power and the broader neo-reactionary agenda. That's a whistleblower from his own department. The Trojan horse, through the Department of Government Efficiency, Elon Musk secured unprecedented access. He set Brandon Bill Big Balls in there, one of his minions, to literally tap into the Treasury Department. They know how much money you made. They know all your taxes, everybody's health data and Social Security. They've got it already. So they've already created the database. I'm sorry, it's over. So when they come to get me, you know who got me. And I'll probably be in Alligator Alley for the next rest of my life. So be it. Until we burn the damn thing down and start over again. So here we go. Commander and mandate. Every federal agency is in the immediate cease using Anthropic technology, President Donald Trump, in a tweet, which he also used a tweet to invade Venezuela. He used a tweet to say he's going into Cuba to take it over by force if necessary. He's in a tweet causing World War III to happen, along with Israel. I'm sorry, folks. I cannot abide by that evil man who is a Zionist and is doing the same thing. He's eliminating all Muslims from the planet. I know that there's real problems going on over there, and I'm not a fan of them having weapons of mass destruction. But let me tell you, I don't think those dead bodies that are coming back of 20-year-olds that you've seen the pictures of realized they were even going to do that. And here we did it. And why did he do it? Because he's a pedophile rapist and he broke all 10 commandments. I'm going to say that out loud. So take me in cuffs right out of here for talking about the President of the United States that way. All 7 deadly sins is what he lives by. The 13 positions of propaganda taught by Goebbels to get Hitler into power is exactly his playbook. I have over 18,000 executions of exactly those 13 principles. Tell them over and over again, the lie again and again until they believe it. They give up. They can't, right? Democracy tends to fascism. Capitalism, corporate power should become the organizing force in society. Nick Land, the Dark Enlightenment philosopher. Democracy should be replaced with for-profit sovereign corporations led by president, assuming complete monarchical control. That means King Curtis Yarvin, Minicus Moldblood. And the goal isn't human flourishing, it's the realization of the machine's potential. Humanity is merely a bootloader for the digital superintelligence. That's the analysis of the accelerationist doctrine. And then phase 1. We must mark him as the most dangerous Negro of the future in this nation. That's the FBI's director, William Sullivan, in 1963 about Martin Luther King. The government was collecting more data than could analyze in the war on terrorism, and Palantir could help them make sense of it. Peter Thiel in 2016. So he got access to all the CIA. He got access to the attention economy. So he's got Facebook as its front end to suck your brain for everything it knows about you. And let me tell you, if you're on Facebook, if you've been on there long, they know more about you than any other human being on this planet, what you're about to do and what you're thinking right now. This is 1984 thought control. Welcome to Big Brother. So this is triangulated control, a logarithmic, not electoral, analysis of the presidential AI task force. Mission link, simulation surveillance, fall of the wall. The standoff with Anthropic proved that when the state demands lethal AI capabilities, contractual safety restrictions and corporate ethics are simply overridden. So if the sovereign buys software, if the new oligarchy is the U.S. government has effectively outsourced its cognitive enforcement capabilities to a small, unelected cabinet of techno-billionaires, following an ideological victory, the Dark Enlightenment is no longer a fringe blog theory. It is the operational reality of the Pentagon, ICE, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The illusion of choice, with OpenAI capitulating and DOGE accessing federal backdoors, the infrastructure for a permanent, unbreakable techno-feudalism state is active. The legacy, the Anthropic dispute, was not a contract negotiation. It was the final failed resistance against the complete weaponization of artificial intelligence against the public in the United States of America. I'm just going to let you sit that for a minute. I'm going to let you look at that for just a minute. And you see why I have this hat on right now. And why I'm as passionate as I have been all of my life. Because as a journalist who's been in search of truth all of my life, what it means to be a human, what I can add value to the rest of the world, this is the Antichrist. It must be put down by any means necessary. That's it. I can't imagine that the world I was born to, which gave opportunities to see the entire planet, to scuba dive with whale sharks and watch a scientist check how many babies are in the belly, who have scuba dived over 3,500 times to find the answers to questions about dolphins and can we speak to them, is talking to you right now, is a man who felt that his government has violated every promise they ever made to we the people. January 6th should have been the end of it. the pedophile things and the rape charges, the 47 charges in federal court that are against our president should have made him unelectable. Not to mention, it probably would have happened with somebody else there. Maybe it would have been J.D. Vance. They've all been in it from the beginning. This is not a joke. This is an existential crisis of humanity, period, end story. With, guess what? You're either the machine of loving grace or you're Dracula and you're about to be sucked dry, as you already have been. And if you weren't aware of every single detail of what I just said, consider yourself enlightened. So I want to make this as a time where I burn the torch bright. It's time to put this government down and rise from its ashes back to what it's supposed to be. It was kind of an amazing thing, the American story. We left kings because we couldn't abide. In fact, we were inspired by Voltaire, who culturally is referenced in Spider-Man. Voltaire said, when faced in France with the "let them eat cake" comment, you may have remembered that one, said of great power, with great power comes responsibility. Did you think the cake-eating king cared about you? About your medical condition? About the number one cause of debt in the United States of America is healthcare? That I almost died twice because of the negligence of the system? That even though I'm wealthy and have all the possibilities, that Social Security is being stripped away from us right now? That a balanced budget is nowhere near happening? That we have to invade other countries because we're in the last throes of 250 years? Go back and check this. 47 empires have existed on Earth. Roman Empire, British Empire. 250 years. 10 generations. Guess what our birthday is this year? July 4th is 250 years. I'm telling you, if this man doesn't end, if we don't end, let me do it this way. If we, the people of the United States of America, do not take back our country, and you can use that Second Amendment the way it was intended as a militia against those kings that tried to take power from we the people. This is civil war, and it's already been happening. You just didn't know it because you're self-domesticated and you allowed it to happen. But now that you know, you can't unforget. I don't care how old I am, but I will take up means of destruction for the evil empire and the Antichrist that this man is on our planet and all of his followers and all the dark enlightenment, because I will have a renaissance before I die, or my stars will be shining so bright as I announce to you to join the cause of all good people who have namaste in their heart. Every one of you has God and enlightenment, and you were made of stardust. And if you don't want to go back in the earth, just of stardust and never have lit a fire, I'm Prometheus, baby. I lit the fire, carry the torch with me. If you're not gonna, get out of my way. That's what a dangerous one is. And I'll ask you to do this one thing. Whenever you meet someone like me, who is angry enough to do anything you can, the resistance starts now. And here's how you identify other resistance members. Good trouble. Your answer? Necessary trouble. My answer? Strawberry fields forever. So I want the sweet taste of a strawberry. Strawberry fields forever, John Lennon song. Imagine a World is my favorite song of all time. It speaks to who I am. And I'm not the only one, as John said. Imagine a world where there is no religion, no want or no need, that we live in harmony and peace, reborn as a renaissance of responsibility, thinking about 7 generations, what our earth will look like, what our children's grandkids will inherit. Our job is to plant the seed, spread the love, be a better version of ourselves every day, show up for those people intimate with us and the whole world. Show up for them. Take the torch and pass it forward. Take your light inside yourself and burn it up in people beside you as they advance. Always be additive value to every post that you ever make. Wake up in the morning in Facebook that's trying to take your agency and said, I'm going to post a piece of great music. Repost tomorrow, Imagine by John Lennon. I'll take it as a sign that the fire is burning in all of you too. And you're not the only one. You're not the only one. And all it takes is for good people to get up and do the right thing, be born of responsibility. I thank you all with love in my heart for every human being on this planet. And to all those close to me, I'm sorry I had to do this, but I had to do this because we cannot let this stand.
Back next week. Namaste.
Love you, everyone. Namaste.